Welcome back, my interwebers, to a game I like to call Cupid. I just found this game and I haven't seen anything about it, so I want to give it a shot and see what I can't figure out about this game. Let's go ahead and start and see what we're going to. I love you. I love you too. That's so sweet. Ew, I love games that start off with it telling me how much they love me. I love you. I love you. Oh, so much. Oh my god. I can't imagine. I love you. There's no need to explain. It's only natural. A mother loves her daughter more than anything else. He hates you, doesn't he? Okay. This is turning very, very bad. I don't like this. The whole lot of them despise you, don't they? Chasing you into the forest and gouging a hole into your leg. Jesus Christ! Oh my god. All because you smiled at their husbands. Well, I mean, if the hoe was smiling at my husband, you know, I'm gonna stab her in the leg. It's just what I'm gonna do. Not crazy or anything. And you know what? You deserve it. Yeah, see? Told you. You deserved it. Yeah. You freak. You disgusting, horrible, filthy little girl. Oh, wow. It sounds like he's getting naughty. Didn't I tell you to stay away from them? You never listen. Nope, she doesn't listen. Serves you right for being that dirty girl you are. Dirty little girl. Okay. But you don't have to worry, my darling. It's alright. Even if the whole world wishes you dead, I promise you this. Your mother will always be by your side. Oh, mommy's here. Priest, my goodness, child, whatever has happened to you. She's got a hole in her leg. Alright. Short hair. Got a little red bonnet. Alright. A girl was slumped in the doorway, soaked by the rain. Her leg was covered in dirt and blood. Alright. She lifted her head upon hearing the priest's voice and stared at him with blank eyes. Okay. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. She hobbled forwards, her bloodied leg giving way. Automatically, the priest rushed forward to steady her. Oh, let me help you. Years of spiritual training had prepared him for the most unexpected guest to his church. He sprung into action. Ah! He ushered her to a pew, brought out some clean cloth, and antiseptic, and he began to bandage her wound on her leg. Alright, so I mean, the priest sounds like a good guy. Alright, cool. Yet throughout all this, he found that he couldn't take his eyes off her. Oh, he's a pedophile, like all of them. He would be gazing at the roll of bandages on his hand, deciding how to tie them, and then out of nowhere he would be staring in her eyes. Yeah, see, a pedophile. He wants the young girls, okay, and young boys. Even with all the mud and grime smeared across her face, he couldn't deny that she was absolutely beautiful. Okay, how old was she? 20, 18, 16? He doesn't care. Her face was so young. The priest had long since aged past his desire for the opposite sex, but somehow something had about her enraptured him. When he realized his own thoughts, he quickly steered his mind towards other matters. My child, what has happened to you? She seemed to take all the time in the world before responding. He looked at me. He looked at me and touched me. And then he started to kiss me. At first the priest didn't understand. Then he realized with a jolt of anger what she meant. It was happening more and more often nowadays. The young men of France these days were spirited, uncontrollable ruffians. A lady walked home by herself one night would be prey to a few number of them. Lust. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright. One of the 7 deadly sins. The one that the priest personally despised the most. Alright then, well, I mean, she shouldn't be walking home alone. I mean, she should at least have a friend. You know, I mean, girls never walk alone. That's just how it is. Especially not in this day and age, or that day and age, whatever day and age that is. I mean, it's known, it's a fact. Never has a girl walked alone. They always go to the bathroom together. That's for the reason so none of them get raped. Have one friend that can, you know, like call out for help while you're sitting there on the floor being, you know, attacked by 6 dudes. Alright, one has to be able to get out. Furrowing his brow in sorrow, the priest laid a hand on her thigh. You are safe now, child. God's house is a sanctuary for the faithful. I don't think he'll protect me. He looked at her in confusion. You see, Father, I have sinned again. Right there, among the pews, before the altar of God, she bowed her head. I'm sorry. She was apologizing to him or someone else. Her hair hid her face and her eyes, and the priest could make neither head nor tails of her. He suddenly realized that his hand was still on her thigh, and he hurriedly drew it away. I'm sorry. She repeated this phrase over and over. After a while, the priest got up. Don't fret, child, you are not to blame. I will contact the local constable, but in the meantime, you are free to make yourself at home here. I will fetch you a hot drink. He patted her hand and left to go to the back room. She remained seated on the pew, her head bent forward. As the priest's footsteps faded away, the entire church fell into silence. Now that it was the dead of night, the clouds covered the sky. Barely a sliver of moonlight filtered through the stained glass. The girl sat alone in a ring of darkness. She opened her mouth. No, I know. If I may say my piece, surely. Yes, mother. But he is so very kind. Haven't you learned your lesson, idiot? I fear for your safety. We'll be nice to her. Child, follow mother's words and leave. You saw the look in his eyes, didn't you? You cannot stay here. Even a man of God can stain you with the filthiest colors. Be a good girl and follow mother's orders. But it is cold outside, mother. The rain has not let up. Can't I stay? No. Oh. We'll be nice. All right. I suppose you can, but you must be wary of everyone in this church. Do you understand? You are so weak, my darling. You give my heart so much pain. I'm sorry, mother. I will try my best to stay out of trouble. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. My poor child. My stupid little... I said my poor child, not my stupid little girl. Always a blight, aren't you? Whatever will you do without me? I'm sorry, mother. Thank you for always guiding me. It is all my fault. See, she said it herself. The girl sat in silence. Mother was right after all. She was always right. Everything was her fault. Her fist shook with a mixture of fear and conviction. She had to do penance. Mother, give me strength. There's something I wish to do. The girl rose from the pew. In front of her was the altar on top of the altar was an ornately decorated cross. It was as wide as her head, and the tip of the cross had been crafted such that it was a razor sharp. She left the pew, knelt briefly, and then walked over to the altar. Don't tell me. You're quite sure you're doing this? The girl's arm trembled ever so slightly. What other way is there for me to atone? She picked up the cross. Oh, my darling daughter, mother is proud of you. Slowly she brought the sharp end close to her face, so that it hovered just above her left eye. And then she... Oh God! Why did you... Are you emo? What happened? Did she kill herself? Did you stab her in the brain? A scruffy young girl in tattered clothes peeked through the open gates of Chateau du Sommel. An afternoon gauteur was being held in the gardens. People from high-class estates rolled around the manicured gardens while chatting loudly with one another. There were beautiful ladies clad in silk and velvet, their necks adorned with pearls and jewels. A variety of foods was displayed on the tables. The girl stared at the food. She hadn't eaten properly in the past few days. Are you hungry, my dear? Yes, mother. Don't you worry. Mother will provide. You do not need those high-class foods anyways. They will upset your stomach. Now we've stayed long enough. Let us leave. Surely we could look around for a bit. It's still a little early. There was something else that called to her other than the party itself. She walked to and fro the guests, peeking at the crowd despite the urgings of her mother to leave. Just a tiny glance would be enough. The girl smiled at the thought of him. The owner of the chateau, the Marquis Dugal. The girl was drawn to him. He wasn't the same as the other people. He seemed different somehow. He was kind to her, and would always hand her food when she delivers flowers. Her heart felt at ease with him. Well, either way, I'm kind of dissing him. I don't like that. I mean, this girl really likes this guy. He's helping her out, but I'm gonna diss him either way. So I don't care for him. You don't need him. He's no good for you. But I wish you would stop oogling some man like a common whore. I just want to see him, mother. What for? What good does his presence do you? He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, mother. There are no more good people in the world, child. It is hard to say. It is hard to say, of course, dear. We do not know the real intentions people have. One can only hope real charity exists. But even good people will always put their needs first. Even your precious Marquise. Don't you think that I'm a good person, mother? Of course, child, you are special. Haven't I raised you as such? I have tried my best, my dearest. Yes, mother, you keep me right. I love you. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left, and then he was. There was no harm in looking, she reasoned. She would never enter the Marquise world. Let her heart be filled with hope. He turned his eyes in her direction. Did he smile at her? The girl's heart stopped. Did he recognize her? She beamed. Courtly went, "My, is this creature deaf as well as dumb?" "It might be, poor thing." "Mademoiselle!" A voice called to the rose girl. She gasped. It seemed that somebody else had noticed her presence. She turned to leave. No, no, my dear. Poor little creature, don't run away. Charlotte, she stinks. Don't touch her." "Came to crash the party, little urchin. You hungry?" Her stomach gave a low grumble. She was always hungry, it seemed, no matter how much or how little she ate. Encouraged by the kindness the Marquise had shown her, the girl approached the woman. She teetered towards the table. "What are you selling?" "Look at this poor creature. Is she selling roses? These are all ugly ones, but not as appealing as the rags she's covering herself in. Are you trying your best to be this repulsive?" "Now don't be mean, Antoinette. Perhaps it's the commoner fashion nowadays." They laughed while gawking at her and her wares. "Oh my, she only has one eye. Ghastly, but I can't look away." The other lady nodded her head. "Like a sideshow attraction, you mean?" "The freaks at the carnival. She's darling in her own dirty, monstrous way. Maybe we could keep it. Hello, do you want some bread, urchin?" "Well, speak up." "Maybe her tongue is short. Add that to the list of her sterling qualities." "Quiet, Antoinette. Come on, don't be shy." "Do you want some food? Let us hear you speak." "Yes, madame." "What?" "Yes, madame, I would be grateful." One of the ladies clapped in mockery at her reply. "Oh, she talks!" The ladies handed her the bread, but it was snatched away just before her fingers grazed it. "Ah! Ah!" "Not before you dance for us first." "I'll make her do a handstand. I've seen one of those street people do that. Quite marvelous." "Now I'd like to see that. This party is getting quite boring." "Well, come on, ma bête. Dance for your food." The girl looked at the beautiful, cruel faces on the women. That look on them. It was a burning desire to hurt something, simply because they could. She knew that look. Before they touched her and hurt her, they had that burning look in their eyes. "Oh, look what you did, Claudette. She's shivering like a leaf, poor thing." The lady was laughing as she said those words. "I didn't do anything. She should be grateful for even offering her this much. Besides, these commoners are supposed to be jolly in their misery. Come on, girl, show us your joy." The girl moved away as they laughed. "Mother, please leave. Please save me. Mother, haven't I taught you this time and time again? People are cruel. Now you see it firsthand." "Hey there!" a child's voice called out from behind her. It belonged to the girl around 7, with chubby cheeks and a look of curiosity in her eyes. She wore an old blue dress, somewhat patched at the corners, but kept clean and tidy. She was not rich, but she had an air if she had owned the ground she stood on. Another commoner? This party is absolutely teeming with them. The Marquis loves these things. Heard he picks them randomly from the street. Maybe I should get me one too. Do you think it is fashionable abroad in this birth country, I mean? Persia? No, I heard he was from India. I heard a rumor he's a bastard son of a Greek queen. Wow. Goodness, that is so far-fetched. I could barely pronounce his name though. He really should change it to something more acceptable. Who knows what kind of demons he might attract with such a blasphemous name. Aha! It must be why all these nasty, horrid little creatures flock around him. Oh! Devil or not, I'll forgive him if he kisses my hand. The ladies laughed. Salop! Aren't you shameless? Don't lie, we all know why we are here. The ladies gossiped among themselves, openly ignoring the girl. The young girl took the slighting with a shrug. She approached the table with asserted her presence. "What you doing?" Goodness, they don't take the hint, do they? Throw something shiny, it might distract them. Hey, you've been holding that bread for a long time. Aren't you going to give it to her? She pointed at the shabby rose vendor. Why do you care? Do you want the bread for yourself? I bet she's hungry too. I know, maybe you should toss the bread and see if they'll fight for it. The ladies laughed to themselves. The girl stared at them with confusion. Her brows furrowed in a childlike understanding. Next thing everyone knew, she had swiped the bread from the woman's hand. Oh my! How rude! Horrible, filthy girl! Give that back! The girl sniffed the piece of bread and nibbled at the surface. Yummy, it's still warm. She shoved the bread in the urchin's face. The scrumptious scent of bread flooded the rose girl's nose. Lick it, the sugared butter tastes good. No, you devil child, give that back. The urchin licked it. Her tongue was covered in sweetness. She stood there squeezing the taste in her tongue. The girl grinned at her, and she couldn't help but grin back. Sorry, here you go. It's all yours. Ugh, disgusting. Like we're going to eat anything that's been in your filthy mouths. Wow, so this is ours now? You ladies are so nice. Cheeky little brats. I'll have you thrown out of this party. I'll have you. A young man strode to the commotion. A sweet scent lingered as he passed. The rose girl felt her mouth well up. His presence filled her body, almost as if her hunger was abated. She blushed furiously. What a strange effect he had. Ladies? Oh, sire, you me. I just came to check in on my esteemed guests. Is everything alright? Are you enjoying yourselves? One of the ladies started fanning herself with obvious annoyance. Well, these little beasts have been harassing us. Yes, my lord. We were just minding our own business when this girl swiped the food off our table. Horrible little nits. The girl stuck out her tongue at them. A lady wiped her eyes in mock tears. See, look at that. It's absolutely monstrous how these children act around adults now. It's absolute. Oh, I said it again. There is no respect, Messire. I worry for the next generation. Oh, Charlotte, don't cry. Well, my lord, we would all breathe a little easier if those children were sent on their way. Yes, who knows what kind of mischief they might be up to. They might set a fire to the tables, you see. Oh, or steal our jewelry. In fact, I think my pocket watch is missing. No, how unfortunate. One of the ladies continued her childish wailing. It is, Messiah. It's unfortunate how you allow your important guests to be treated this way. Please deal with these vermin. Throw them out now. Oh, my sweet ladies, I am stricken with grief at your misfortunes. Allow me to offer my heartfelt apologies. Unfortunately, this child is a more important guest today, and you are, sad to say, paltry squatters. Excuse me? Madame Charlotte of Montpellier, I don't remember sending you an invite. Same for you, Lady Annette of Rains, and Lady Claudette of Lyon. Most people I invited are huge patrons of music. That is why they are here today. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine Louise Parade. She is a 7-year-old piano prodigy who played for the Queen last summer. The man pointed to the girl, busy chewing her half of the bread. The Rose Girl just stared at the unfolding situation. Well, that's... I am sure you were aware of that, were you not? No matter, I'm always happy to see you ladies. It is my pleasure to have you here, but I hope you don't mind giving some of the food away to my townspeople. That is why I keep my gates open. My servers are instructed to serve anyone who passes by, not just my guests. But don't you fret, my darlings, there is plenty more to be served. The ladies blushed in embarrassment. One of them began to fan herself even faster. Excuse me. The Marquise walked up to the two girls. The Rose Girl's heart beat so fast it made her head feel light and dizzy. She had never been this close to him. It made her feel a mixture of fear and elation. Lady Catherine, your father has been looking for you. It is almost time for your performance. The girl looked up at the Marquise and did a little curtsy. My apologies, sire. I didn't mean to cause a clatter. Guillaume chuckled. I saw the whole thing, ma chérie. You put those ladies in their place. They were being mean to her. When he narrowed his eyes to the other girl, she hid behind her basket of roses. She couldn't look at him directly. He was the son, and to be in his presence. Yet there was a relief in her heart as he stepped closer to her. I have seen you before, haven't I? The Rose Girl nodded and made a curtsy. I deliver your roses to your house sometimes. Yes, the girl with the sweetest face. The Rose Girl blushed. I love your roses, by the way. They stay fresh longer than they should. You've tended to them with love. So thank you, sire. Do you have a name, young lady? What's the matter? It is alright, young lady, if you would rather. Let's call her Rosa. Rosa, it fits her. I think she forgot her name, or she's lost it. The Marquise nodded wisely. A valid point. Are you alright with that, Rosa? Yes. Come on, Rosa, you'll watch me play, right? Her eyes darted from the girl to the Marquise. Oh, Sir Gilly doesn't mind. Gilly? He's really nice to me and my family. And he helps the people around town, too. He won't throw you out. The Marquise held his hand in the air as if swearing an oath. I won't. See, come on, you're invited now. You're my special guest. There's plenty of food inside too, Rosa. Please help yourself. Thank you, sire. Rosa is coming, yay. Now this is my first public performance, Rosa. I'm a bit nervous. Catherine scratched her head. What will I do if I make a mistake? Papa will be very upset. The Marquise knelt in front of Catherine and rubbed her shoulders fondly. You won't make a mistake, ma chérie. As long as you put your heart into the keys, play to touch your audience, and any mistake won't matter. Do you understand? Catherine stared at Marquise. Not really. The man chuckled. You will someday. Just play your first song with me in your mind, will you? Something that you will think will make me smile. Guillaume held Catherine's clear young eyes in his gaze. He kissed her hand. It was covered with sticky sugar and breadcrumbs. Catherine blushed. It was the first time she looked embarrassed by anything. It would be my pleasure, sir. Catherine trudged up the wooden podium and walked towards the middle of the stage. The crowd's chatter died down. She curtsied in front of her audience, waved to her father, and stole a glance from Gilmy. The man gave her a tiny nod. She sat down in front of the piano, admiring the cream and ebony keys underneath her fingers. Her own piano was broken and beaten. Father had sold his horse for it. The A3 key never played, and the string would creak when it was cold. But it had never failed her. She knew the keys like they were her own fingers. She whispered to the new piano softly, as if coaxing a beautiful, untamed animal. "Let's be friends, okay?" She saw Rosa at the far end of the podium, watching her diligently. There was a renewed vigor in her blood. She could hear the keys calling out to her, a song that would make him smile. She placed her fingers on the keys. She began to play. Oh wow, how pretty. She could really play the piano. It would be better if there was a little bit of animation, like see her fingers move or see the keys that she's pressing. Something, just any kind of little animation. But it's alright. It's a little read-me thing. I think it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Actually, this is the first time I've ever played any kind of game like this, and I am enjoying it. I didn't realize I would enjoy something like this. I'm more of an action-based kind of gamer. I prefer first-person shooters, really. Or games like League of Legends, as you've seen on my YouTube channel if you have checked it out. Which there will be more of those to come as well. Me and my team are very fond of that game. I am also looking for people to play games on Steam with me, and if you would like to know what games I do have and own on Steam, you can just email my business email, and I'll be more than happy to tell you what games I have, or what games I have been looking at to get. It's all up in the air. Let's click this now and see if we can't move on. Okay. At the end of the ring of the first few notes, it became apparent to the audience that the girl was something special. Here was a little girl barely tall enough to reach the pedals of the piano, playing as if she owned it. There were times she missed a note or two, but that didn't matter. She played the song to make someone smile and touched everyone present. Her musical skill was far beyond her years. Her fingers caressed the keys as if she was making a flower crown, carefully weaving the petals. She knew the correct way to tie the leaves so they wouldn't tear, and like all the smart little girls did. As the piano sang under her hands, Catherine seemed to disappear right in front of the audience's eyes. She was just a vision after all, somebody leading them down a dream. A dream of a garden in the springtime, the shade of a tree on a windy day. The couples in the audience tightened their grip on the hands of their partners. Some closed their eyes to let the music saturate their soul. Sweet memories of youth, of first love, the yawn of a newborn. Rosa's eyes shone as she stared at Catherine. Her heart was captured by this image of her, a young girl swaying her head to the music, smiling as the notes poured out of her heart. She couldn't take her eye away from Catherine's glowing face. Was this happiness? Was this love? She looked like she was in love. And she was, wasn't she? In her innocence, she was still in love with life. In love with her family, with her pets. In love with the everyday, or every new discovery. She was full of hope. It was a bittersweet feeling for Rosa. A happy teardrop rolled down her cheek. She wanted to warm herself in that hope if she could. In the audience, Guillemette and Catherine's father sat beside each other. Sire period, your daughter is amazing. She is, isn't she? I mean, pardon my arrogance, my liege. I am very proud. I'm a very proud father, you see. No pardon necessary, sire. Has she found a sponsor yet? The Duke of Versailles once spoke to me about it, but we have not made any arrangements. Then I must steal her away as soon as possible. Sire? I'd like to be Catherine's primary sponsor, if that is alright with you. Why, sire? And to further cement my status, the piano that she is playing right now, it is hers. I've bought it for her. Francio's eyes widened in astonishment. That is... Francio's gulped. That is beyond generous, sire. Guillaume smiled. Well, I must make it hard for you to refuse me, you see. I took the opportunity of asking you outright. You see, the Duke might offer an extravagant piano plated in gold. In that case, I have no choice but to humbly concede. What? I'm kidding. The Duke of Versailles is the worst miser you will ever meet. The men chuckled. Of course, I shall be paying for her musical tutoring as required, along with an ample stipend to accommodate your family. Ah, you don't have to look so surprised, Monsieur cried. Your daughter is a star. There's an effervescence about her that enraptures the soul. There is no doubt in my mind that she will succeed. Thank you deeply, my liege. Please call me by my name, Messire. Let me remind you that this generosity isn't without charge. Her tutoring will be done at my house. I want to monitor her progress. Apart from that, I'd very much like Catherine to visit me and play from time to time. Music is one of my true passions. Her presence would benefit my mood tenfold. Of course, sire. That is a small price to pay for all of your offers. On the contrary, Messire, you don't have to decide now. Think kindly about it. Thank you, my lord. Sire Guillaume. After the performance, Catherine and Rosa went to the Marquis' garden to play. Francios and Guillaume lingered on their table, sorting out the details of Catherine's further education. Emily Paride wandered about the crowd, searching for a familiar face. She had arrived halfway through Catherine's performance just in time to gush at her little sister's applause. Unfortunately, she couldn't find her father in the crowd. When she finally caught sight of the back of his head, she approached him hastily. Father, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. Emily stopped as she saw the man her father was talking to. It was none other than the Marquis himself. She fixed her hair self-consciously and curtsied. My lord, pardon my intrusion. I didn't realize. Guillaume smiled at her kindly. You are free to intrude any time, my lady. Emily smiled back just as the rumor said the Marquis was easy on the eyes. To whom do I owe the pleasure of your acquaintance? This is my eldest daughter, Emily. Pardon me for not introducing her sooner. Charmed. Guillaume offered her a seat. Emily sat down across the man. Well, it seems talent and good looks run in the family. Francois? No, I'm calling Francois. His name's Francois. Francois rubbed his neck. Francois. Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother. Yeah, 'cause you're one ugly fudge. Ugly fudge. Yeah. Okay. Surely not, Monsieur Paride. The eyes are yours, earnest and loving eyes. Emily snorted at such happy words. Her father was clearly basking in the compliments. If this really was the famous Guillaume the rumors talked about, then he wasn't exactly much of a charmer, was he? She didn't know what all the fuss was about. The ladies in the house she worked for could not seem to stop talking about this man. Admittedly, there was something morbidly curious about the way he looked at people. Like he was always distracted and could only say words that were expected of him. I'm pleased to have finally met you, sire. I've heard a lot about you on my travels. All good things, I hope? Depends on the tabloid and the day of the week. Emily thought to herself and chuckled. You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work? With the Dmitri household, sire. Ah, yes, I heard you were marrying into the family soon. Oh, Father, Oh, Father, I told you not to tell anybody yet. I didn't, but you know how people talk. Word travels fast. Pardon the comment, then, my lady. Please. Your Betrolled? Oh, whatever. Is a lucky man, I'm sure. The conversation endured through the afternoon. Small talk, musical composers, their little town, Catherine's musical background, Francois's students, Emily's work. Emily played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on the particularly droll topics. All throughout the exchange, Emily observed the infamous Marquis de Gaulle. This was him, the audacious, shameless flirt of the royal court and tabloids. According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Devonshire and her daughter at the same time. Too bad, is at the same damn time. And and even had a tumultuous relationship with the Prince of Garnet. What? He's gay too? He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he was caught with another man or woman. At this point, who knew what was real and what was a blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him, and here he was finally, talking about sampling the new bakery's creme brulee, and she couldn't say she was disappointed exactly, but the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emily ventured. She was watching his gaze flicker across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. She wondered if he would suddenly say something coy or insist to dance with her. Just something outrageous. Honestly, so she could shoot him down. This man, whom everyone was interested in. That would be a small victory for reasonable women everywhere. But the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle. He did not touch unnecessarily. No audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with. Emily bit her lip. She shouldn't be thinking that. But there were also times when he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation lulled. When the words spoken were without meaning, their eyes would converse further. To Emily, he started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors, and the numerous flings. We were all a little lonely, weren't we? Perhaps even he. He invited the family over to his chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul to touch. And before she could stop herself, Emily had begun to imagine his lips on her neck on one of those cold nights. Emily shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, her father didn't seem to notice. Music and loneliness struck a nerve with Francois parade. He had immersed himself in his music, tutoring his students and Catherine ever since his wife had gotten sick. It had been 6 years, but sometimes the nights were cold. For Francois, the Marquis was speaking to his soul. He was a kindred spirit. He wasn't a pompous showboat like all the other royalty Catherine had played for. The Marquis even had a wine collection he wanted to show Francois. Such a down-to-earth, generous young man. Emily, your face is flushed. Are you alright? I'm fine. Just the sun, probably. This was not true, of course. The afternoon sun had already lost most of its heat. Thankfully, Catherine provided a distraction. She ran towards their little huddle and flung her arms around her father's torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. A young lady a young ragged girl followed behind her. Emily wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid the left side of her face. You could just see faint traces of scars peeking through. A surge of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. "Hello there, young lady." The girl looked down at her toes, but she gave her a shy smile. "I see you've made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty." "Thank you, madame. Catherine gave it to me." "Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the name of all the flowers in Sir Gilly's garden." "Catherine, there you go again with your silly names. Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us." "Catherine, Papa, please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go." "Now, Catherine, that is not very nice. Rosa here is a girl. She is not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home, like you always do with other stray animals. Goodness knows we have all the stray cats of France living in our house." "Yes, I know she's not a kitten. I know she's a girl. But shouldn't we take her home even more so?" Francois sighed. Guillaume chuckled under his breath. He was clearly enjoying this exchange. "Your daughter has some very unique views, Sir Pride." "Well, Sir Gilly, what do you think?" "Huh?" Guillaume's face lost his casual bystander look. "You are Marquise. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home?" Guillaume's brow furrowed at being put on the spot so suddenly. He stole a glance at Francois, who was silently pleading with him with his eyes not to humor the child. He cleared his throat. "Well, I'm sure it's up to your father since he owns the house." Oops. "He will have to clothe and feed Rosa, you see." "Guess what? I've got all that figured out. Ever since Sister moved to work, nobody minds the house anymore. I have to wash the dishes every time. Papa's so busy, and we always have enough food for the two of us. If Rosa stays, then I wouldn't be so lonely on my own. She'll wear Sister's old clothes, and will mind the house when both Sister and Father are away. She can wash the dishes sometimes, and I'll wash them sometimes." Guillaume and Francois shared a look. "And besides, if it were up to me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house and give her food. Girls don't even eat that much. Not sure about boys." She thought for a bit. "But I'm sure it's not too much that people can take them into a home too. One time I ate one whole plate of potatoes and my stomach hurt. If Rosa was there, I wouldn't have eaten so much. Maybe." Guillaume couldn't help but laugh. Francois rubbed his neck with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry, sire. She's very headstrong. Father, I'm sure taking Rosa in wouldn't be much trouble for us financially, yes? My new work pays better. I'm sure we can adjust." "Well, about that. Perhaps if Rosa worked in my household, it wouldn't be much of a burden to your family, Sire Pride." "Sir Gilly, that'd be great. It's great. You are truly a kind soul, sire." "Not at all. I'm sure I need her help more than she needs mine. Isn't that right, Rosa? In that case, I would love to offer my home to Rosa." "Oh, now he wants to. Although I am still aware that this is supposed to be more complicated." "Sire, what about her family or her friends? Are we violating any laws, perhaps? I'm not even sure." "As long as it is consensual, sire, the details can be smoothed out later." The girl was quiet the whole time. She was looking at her toes or at Catherine. "Rosa, do you have any family, relatives, or friends you stay with?" "No, sire. My mother died a long time ago, but she guides me always. So please don't be compelled to mind me." "No, don't go back to the streets, Rosa. It's September. It's going to be really cold soon." "Sir Gilly will even give you work. Come stay with us." "But, Catherine..." Francois sighed in surrender. Alright, she can stay for the night. Papa, just for tonight, and then we'll see if she wants to stay for longer." Catherine, you cannot hold people in their place just because you want them there. Do you understand? If Rosa wants to leave, she may leave. You cannot keep her here like an object. Gilamy cleared his throat. That is sound advice, sire. Bride. Yes, Papa, I understand. Rosa, please make yourself uncomfortable in our home. Thank you. Papa is the best. Catherine turned to Gilamy again. Sir Gilly, don't you think if everyone with a house takes one person home, nobody would freeze in the winter? You should make it into a law. They'll obey it because you're a marquise. And because you're tall. Well, everybody, that I'll finish this up a little later. I had fun. All right.